Well, here we are at Cehalis, Thousand Trails RV Park, and after watching Josh and Jared and Jesse and Lisa fly the drone, it became apparent to me I needed to get a little bit more practice. So I'm back at the campground practicing up. Them kids, I guess it's all them video games, but they really was able to go wherever they wanted to go and had no fear. So we're about 45 miles north of Longview, and this campground here, this camp spot, we didn't have a sewer hookup, so we moved. I think in the next day I was walking the dog and found another spot. That happens a lot. We get to the campground and we look around, unhook the car and drive around, find the best campsite we can, and then we get set up, and then we're there for a week or more. Over the next day or so we look for a better one, and we found a better one with sewer hookups and a lot of pretty secluded. So we enjoyed Cehalis a lot. On the last video, on the comments, I mentioned to everybody to maybe leave some ideas of what you wanted us to film or focus on or talk about or do. And Stevie had several comments about putting in budgets, and Marlo talked about things that are different in the RV versus in the living at home. So I think that's a good idea. I think everybody's interested in that, not only family and stuff that's watching now, but people that may find this blog months or years down the road. So we'll probably do that. We do all of our finances through Quicken, so we'll be able to easily pull that out. I just kind of did a quick check last night, and we're right about where we thought we'd be. Everybody talks about spending on the low end down $30,000 or a little less, conservatively. Some a lot less, I think, but and then up to 40, 45,000 seems to be the most. And they say it's hard to spend over 50 unless you're just going and doing all kind of stuff. So we figured 35 or 40, and I think that's right about where we're at. When we took out all the stuff associated with selling the house and utilities and all the stuff associated with the house in Las Vegas, we were down around $3,500 for the first month. We started June the 12th, and this is June the 16th. And so I just ran it for that period there, and we're right around $3,500. And groceries was up a little bit, and eating out was up quite a bit, but we spent a lot of time with Lance and his family. We went out to eat several times and slipped in some ice cream and yogurt and different things. So that's probably average of what we'll do. So anyway, I'll put together a spreadsheet and kind of go over it each month of where we're at on expenses. But I tell you what, it's a whole lot cheaper than living in, especially the house we was living in with those utility bills and house payments. And I think we're going to have a lot more money to go and do stuff with the not having those other bills. So looking here at Cehalis, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. All of these parks in Washington seem to be a whole lot alike. Oregon was a little different. They were a little more opened up, it seemed like it. Long Beach, and because maybe there's on the ocean. Long Beach and Seaview, I think it was. They're a little different, but they're a little more crowded. They're all, everybody was jammed together. Here we've got bushes and trees to separate the campsites. The big problem, and in reading the reviews you hear a lot about it, is dust. Most all the roads are gravel and dirt, and they have low speed limits, like 5 miles an hour. It's for cars, as long as they stay at 5 miles an hour, it's not too bad. But like our motorhome, driving it at 5 miles an hour, the exhaust is on the right hand side, and you look in the mirror, even going 3 or 4 miles an hour just idling, it just blows up a cloud of dust. The people on the right hand side of us are just, I'm sure, infuriated with all the dust, but there's nothing you can do about it. And all of them seem to be the same way. One thing we found all the Thousand Trails is they've all got 2 or 3 swimming pools, and they are just, everybody talks about how great they are, and the water's clear and the hot tubs are clear and everything looks sanitary, and apparently they keep real good care of that. A lot of stuff they've let kind of run down. Part of it, I think, is because people don't use it. Like, we've never seen anybody playing horseshoes or miniature golf, and almost every park has both of those. They have basketball courts and handball, and that game Steve plays, it's like tennis. They have tennis courts at most of, or a lot of them. I forgot what you call it. But anyway, they have those. But we've seen people playing both basketball, tennis, and what the heck is that game called? That old people play. I forgot. But anyway, we see them playing that too. But the horseshoes and a lot of stuff gets run down because miniature golf, because I think people just don't use it too much. And the economy probably has hurt them a lot. But you see more people around, maintenance people trimming bushes and trees and stuff. So I think it's a good deal. And for us, a lot of people, in the name, a lot of them are called RV resorts for Thousand Trails. And none of them are too much resorts because of the dirt roads and some of the rundown stuff. But for us, they're exactly what we're looking for. They're really great. If it was a little more secluded, like Tony mentioned, spread out a little more. But I was thinking about that the other day, and it's kind of like back in the old days, the farmers lived on their farms, and when they moved into town, to them it probably seemed like everybody was in everybody's business just right there. You walk out the door and your neighbor's standing out in his front yard, and it's really crowded. But people got used to towns and that kind of closeness. Well, that's what this is like. You walk out and everybody waves and says hi, but people don't get in your business or bug you, or you kind of feel like you're in your own little world. One thing you can rest assured is the RVs, all the RVs you can see, there's probably somebody in there looking out their window watching you all the time. Some of that happens at your house, I guess, but at the RV park, and it's like us, you see somebody drive by or doing something all the time. We're looking at like, oh, looky here, look at this lady and her dog, or this guy's fixing his sewer or electricity, or satellite signal's a big one, trying to get into your satellite. So there's a lot of that goes on. But I tell you what, we're liking this. I know Stevie and Jinxie have always talked about the little home thing. I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing. You're gonna like it, and it don't cost much of anything to do this. Our right now our Social Security is $30,000 a year. I'm drawing off Pearl's as a dependent. I haven't started mine, but when I turn 70, I'll quit hers. She gets 20 and I get half of that 10, and I'll drop that 10, but mine will be almost 40,000. So we'll have $60,000 Social Security for the rest of our lives, and it adjusts for inflation. With $60,000, barring any big health issues, we're just kind of on, I think, easy street. So we do this 40,000, 30,000, and we pull maybe 10,000 out of our IRAs, and starting next year we have to start pulling money out. We have to minimum disbursement, they call it. So we have to pull like 10 or 15,000. I forgot the number. They got a formula every year. So that plus our Social Security, we're going to be in hog heaven. Might even be some left over for some of you kids or grandkids watching this video if we don't get too crazy and start going to Europe and Hawaii and all kind of stuff, or one of us don't get some crazy sick. So anyway, that's all grocery shop. Food and grocery shopping, eating is, we'll go over the numbers on the next video, but it's the same. These things look like, at least to me, these Thousand Trails look like they're way out in the middle of a forest somewhere, but as you see when I raise the drone up, there's always a highway not very far away, and usually a town within a couple of miles to 10 miles. Here at Cehalis, there's a bunch of little bitty towns that probably don't have 1,000 people in them all around. To get to a big town, we wanted to wash the car the other day. We had to drive like 40 miles just to wash the car, but we was just goofing off, killing time anyway. But we went through 6 or 7 little towns that no car wash anywhere. So what else? Grocery shopping, food. Pearl is just such a great cook. We try really hard to eat healthy. She cooks on the stove everything she cooked at home in this convection microwave oven. She's learned to bake in it now just like a regular oven. So it's food is not much different. Space is not much different. And they talk about being on wheels. I tell you, it's just so great knowing that here for us, all these are kind of the same, but knowing that in just a few days you're going to be packing up and leaving and going to another campground and something new, it adds a little bit of excitement or something to look forward to. We've got one more here. We're here for a week, and then we've got about 30-40 miles away. We've got a spot we're going for 3 days, and then we're going up to, I think it's Birch Bay. It's right on the Canadian border. We got our passports and stuff, so we plan on going over to Canada several times, as long as we can find fun stuff to do. We're going to do that. And I'm actually, as I talk, we're in our next spot, which is Mount Vernon. So, and I just had a great flight with the drone at Mount Vernon, and so I'm probably going to pop it up right about now. You're going to see me taking off. And same thing here. We started out in one campsite. It was a great campsite. We liked it, but we're going to be here a week, and it had no sewer. It had water and electric, but no sewer. And our holding tanks, we have 70-gallon fresh and 35 sewer, so we can go a week and wash dishes and do everything we need to do, and we have water left over, and our holding tanks have a little bit of space left, so we can go a week pretty easy. But we have to monitor it well. And walking the dog, we found this spot not very far away. It's the only one here. There's maybe 200 campsites here, and there's maybe 15 that have sewer. And we found this one. So Pearl stayed at the site. I went back and got the RV and the car, and we brought stuff over and got here. So I'd like to stay here for a couple of weeks. This one's so nice. One thing we've learned is we try to always leave on a Sunday afternoon, so our next site we arrive on a Sunday afternoon, and that's when all the weekend people are leaving, and the site's the best shot of getting the best sites is on a Sunday. So we've been just staying up to a week because we never knew what we was going to get into, and we didn't want to be 3 weeks at some place we didn't like. This one I'd like to be here 3 weeks. And the next one up on the Canadian border, we are going to be, not the next one, but the one after, we are going to be there 3 weeks. So that's our first time, but I think it'll be a good site. So that's kind of where we're at, and I'm hoping you're enjoying the videos. Here in a couple days, I'm going to fire up some spreadsheets and kind of go over numbers, and then I'll do that once a month to kind of give people an idea. There's probably several people that's in our age bracket or a little younger that are curious about what does it cost to do this. And I'm telling you right now, that number is a positive thing. You be liking that number because it don't take much. So anyway, that's about it, and I'm going to sign off. And I think Pearl made some sausage and eggs and hash browns, and I think I've got some dirty dishes to take care of. So I can go do my chores, and we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.